Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Hale again. Just wanted to go over the second part of the lab for Unit 5 project. For this project, you're just going to be continuing what you started in Module 4. So now you're in Module 5, so you just want to go ahead and open that document back up, and you're going to be working on Part 2. So in Part 1, you actually calculated the population change over 20 years. Now you're going to use this data and you're going to graph. So again, you need to provide a title for your graph, whatever you want it to be, population growth, whatever you decide. But then you're going to label your axes here. So remember that time always goes on the x-axis. So there's a hint for you. And so whatever's left will go on the y-axis. So the independent variable and the dependent variable. And so the one other thing that you do need to graph is your carrying capacity. If you want to go all the way back to the instructions, remember that the carrying capacity for this population is 600 rabbits. So you want to make sure that you include that data in your, right here, 600 rabbits, include that data in your graph. And what you're going to do is you can go ahead and just make a copy of these by right-clicking and then do copy and then move these. So your carrying capacity, I'm not sure what your labels are going to be here. Obviously, you start out with 75 rabbits. So you're going to move in increments that's going to be adjustable to your data. For me, I would put like 75, 150, 225, 300, 375, 450, 525. But that's not going to work because I have to get up to 600 here because that's my carrying capacity. So I could do something like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and then 600 here, and then 700 here. Okay, so again, our carrying capacity is going to be 600, so we want to go ahead and put a dot on 600, which is more like right about here. I want to move my dot too. And what you're going to see is as you graph this data, then you're going to see something happen when rabbits reach 600. So remember that it's at 600, you have a carrying capacity. So once the rabbit population reaches 600, you're going to see something happen, a change. So, all right, so let's look at maybe the first one here. So on our data, these are our years. So year 1, 2, 3. Actually, maybe we need to do by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So we got 20 years of data. So again, like looking at my data, so I started out with year 0 for me was 100. You started with 75, but I'm just going to go with my data for now. I'm going to make a copy of the slider point, and I'm going to put on my first mark. So in year 1, I had 100 rabbits. So then again, I want to make a copy of that. And oopsie. And then I'm going to use it to make my second point, my second data point, and so on. And so again, you'll start to see as your data starts to level off here by the carrying capacity that something happens when your population reaches carrying capacity. So it asks you to define the term carrying capacity. You can look that up online or even go back to your lesson. Again, what 3 factors determine population growth? We talked about this in Module 4, but you can also go back and read the instructions, and it tells you in the lab what are the 3 things that affect population. Name and describe the type of growth that is occurring in the first 12 years. So again, you can go back to your lesson, or you can even just look that up. and then what's happening after 12 years. So before 12 years and then after, what do you think will happen to the birth rate and death rate when resources are abundant, when resources are limited? And then you're going to list 3 factors that affect the carrying capacity of the any carrying capacity of a population. So number 16, describe what happens in a population in the years after the carrying capacity is reached. So you'll see that in your own data, and so you can just reflect on that. This is a good point to actually analyze your data. Explain what changes you would see in your graph in years 6, 20, new rabbits immigrated into the population. So how would your data change in year 6 if you actually had some immigration? Because remember, originally we had said there was no immigration. And then for number 18, you're going to kind of go back to what we did in Module 4, where we talked about the mice and their offspring, and just kind of trying to calculate what those populations might look like. All right, well, that is it for this lab. If you have questions or need help on it, please reach out to me. Thank you.